I have some fantastic news. I have come up for air from making tutorials about how to install everything in the game, and we're back on the Wonderkid train. It's a train of happiness and possibility, and I'm very happy to be back on it. My goal today is to make a video that is not 40 minutes, even though I am going to talk about the 17 best bargain Wonderkids out there. I got way too carried away with my 20 Wonderkids that you hadn't heard of, so we're going to be quicker in our descriptions of each of these individual players, just lay them out there for you with all the important information that you're going to need when you consider signing them. But of course, they are the best bargain Wonderkids, so why wouldn't you want all of them? My parameters for this video, just so you know, I'm defining Wonderkids ages 15 to 19. Obviously, you can't go below 15 in Football Manager, and we're capping it at 19, so these are teenagers. Their value at the club is under $100,000. So this is it's a pretty low bracket when you're talking about top-tier Wonderkids, but the potential is still really high from number 17 to number 1. Now, a few of these are on the Wonderkids you've never heard of. The vast majority were not, because those parameters and the potential ability were higher. I lowered the potential ability parameters for this video, and that is what has given us enough opportunity. There would have only been 2 or 3 people if I'd kept the parameters the same in terms of potential ability. To put the potential ability of everybody on this list in context, the potential ability that the worst person on this list has is the same as, you know, the current ability or the current star rating of players like Presnel Kimpembe and Ferland Mendy. And they play for PSG and Real Madrid. So there's a high ceiling here. It's kind of the point of every Wonderkid video. Let's just get into the list. I'm already taking too much time. I present to you number 17, goalkeeper Yuri Batista. He has the ability to be as good as old Claudio Bravo. I mean, as good as Claudio Bravo is at the beginning of FM20. That's where Yuri Batista can get. He's an 18-year-old Brazilian. He's the first of a lot of Brazilians on this list because apparently Brazilians just got a lot of cheap talent. He's a breakthrough prospect on a second-flight Brazilian team. 18 years old, athletic-sized keeper, fantastic determination, already has a lot of the technical aspects of goalkeeping down, has a lot of time to develop. Personality doesn't really help you, the fact that it's balanced, but if you're looking for a good goalkeeper to plug in for the next decade on a second-tier European side, this is your guy. Because honestly, old Claudio Bravo, I'm okay with. On to number 16, we stay in Brazil. We move up to the top flight, to Cruzeiro, with a guy named Vinicius Popo. He's actually a forward, so we've gone from one end of the field to the other, but he has lower determination. He's got the same balanced personality. Huge plus side, he has a face in the face pack, so that's nice. I do have a big concern, and he almost didn't make the list. The guy's only 5'7", 145 pounds. If you don't work in feet and pounds, he's small. He's really small. He's about the size of Messi, and that obviously is going to limit your ability to influence the game as a center forward through the air, but he has a high technical floor already. He's a pretty balanced, talented player at the age of 18. He did just sign a new contract, so it might take a year or two for you to pry him away from Brazil, but if you can give him a situation where he has a lot of immediate playing time or an excellent locker room atmosphere to be able to boost his determination and perhaps aid his personality development if he's still young enough, then Vinicius Popo is going to turn into a pretty good player because he starts with really good current ability for the crop. And to be perfectly honest, there just aren't a lot of bargain Wonderkids that are forwards. So you have to take your opportunity when it's there, even if they're short. We're going about as far from Brazil as you can possibly go for number 15, 19-year-old Scotsman named Ewan Henderson, kind of a hidden gem playing for Ross County. The only reason he's playing for them is because he's on loan from Celtic, who tends to cultivate basically every Scottish player with any high-level potential, and that's what Ewan Henderson is. I actually really like this guy. He is a pure center midfielder with a very high technical floor, good determination, really good determination compared to the general population, and good determination compared to people on this list. He's either-footed, fairly determined, there's not a lot to dislike. You can even teach him to play further up the field, even though I don't think he's ever going to be as good or as influential as an attacking midfield player as he could be roaming as a box-to-box style mid. Out of 14, we're back on a guy that's not in the face pack, which always bothers me, but it's fine. He's an 18-year-old named Luis Sanchez. Now, Luis Sanchez is a player for América de Cali, which is the biggest club in Colombia. He's also very hard to find because there are a lot of Luis Sanchez and he plays for Saint Etienne 2, I think. Saint Etienne's 2 team. He's loaned to them from América de Cali. Great right winger, huge natural fitness. He's going to turn into an athletic dynamo, has basic versatility, has the size you'd expect from a winger. But that versatility, the massive natural fitness, and obviously decent potential, by decent I mean squad player for world-class team, he is a very valuable signing because clearly, for some reason, SI is seeing something that Saint Etienne is not, and this guy is not in the Saint Etienne first team, and Saint Etienne hasn't even bought him yet, so you should. It's hard to play with wingers on absolute world-class level teams anyways, so one cut below that, you sign Luis Sanchez, you have yourself an answer. Maybe you should find his picture of him also, and then upload it. There would be a tutorial about how to change faces in the game in 2 weeks. Moving on. Believe it or not, I have another offensive player for you. 13 on the list is Tiago Gouveia. Guy who plays for the Benfica B team. He is a hard-line, left inside forward, right winger player, but the good news is he's already a natural at both, which means you don't have to do a whole lot more training. He's pretty set in his ways, but if you like a guy that can contribute on both sides of your attacking third, found him for you. He's certainly not a guaranteed develop player. He doesn't have particularly high determination, doesn't have very good natural fitness, so is never going to be an explosive athlete, but will obviously continue to develop only as an 18-year-old until you get to 2021. You're physically developing a lot. Time to explain the concept of puberty. I guess not until 2021. Anyways, Gouveia is a very classic archetypal player. What that means is he's a type of player that we've all seen before, a dead set inside forward. He's got the added tools of being able to play on the opposite side of the field and has a good baseline to start his development in terms of his actual attributes and where they are distributed. Doesn't have a good baseline to start his development with determination and natural fitness, so I'd recommend launching into this bargain if he will start for you right away. For number 12, we go back to Brazil. We actually go back to the same team we went to earlier for Popo. It's Edu. Lucas Eduardo. If you search Lucas Eduardo, Edu will come up. Center back. I love getting good defensive players, and this guy, he's somebody I'll probably sign. The oldest he can possibly be to be on this list, obviously, but defensive players, goalkeepers, they have a little room for development on the back end, even through 25, 26 years old. And he's not the biggest, but already has a perfect line of attributes that are just ready to grow, put in the right situation. Decent athleticism, dynamo determination. Already has marking and tackling kind of sorted out. Never going to be a brilliant ball-playing defender, but a reliable backline presence for a very long time. Somebody that's also in the face pack. Oh, yeah. Even has the long flat throw. So many things to like. Even the mustache. Number 11 is a guy named Darko Churlinov. You know I had to throw someone completely out of left field on you. Darko Churlinov's from North Macedonia, but he came up in the German system and now he's playing for Köln. Not actually playing yet at the start of the game, so you have an opportunity to take a pop at him. There are a lot of things to like about Churlinov. His potential falls in exactly the same range as all the people before, but he has good determination. He has a great trait already, which is likes to beat man repeatedly because he can back it up with talented dribbling. Then you have the fact that he's resolute, which this is the best personality we've seen on this list so far. To find a guy on a bargain list who has really good squad player on a world-class team potential, being resolute means he's probably going to get there, makes him a more valuable signing. Before we even really dig into the fact that this guy can play basically every position in the front half of the field. North Macedonia was smart to get him capped now, because he was actually pretty close to gaining his German nationality in the game. I think he only had a year or two left to go. Not that he'd be able to play for the German team right away. You're telling me you wouldn't want this guy coming off the bench? You could have 5 substitutes specifically to change your tactical approach, and this guy could fill in for anybody that got hurt. I'm sure he could play fullback too, honestly, if you started training him right away. From North Macedonia to a Nigerian, number 10, cracking the top 10, Aremu Afeez. Obviously, it's not Afeez. I just wish it was Afeez. This guy's playing in Norway. So unlike our friend from North Macedonia, he hasn't really been picked up by a high league yet. And he is 19, but you get the feeling that some of that development was delayed getting from Nigeria to Norway. Because our friends at SI have given Aremu Afeez the best potential of anybody that you've seen on this list so far, which would be why he's above everybody that you've seen so far, because what you're looking at doesn't necessarily look as good as Churlinov, who we just saw before. But he's a central midfielder that has perfect size, really, and a strong base to grow, evenly distributed attributes that could allow you to turn Afeez into any type of central midfielder that you would want. The development curve is also going to be pretty nice on Afeez because unlike basically everybody else we've looked at, Afeez is already a regular first teamer for the club that he's at, which is very rare for players that are hidden and best bang for your buck Wonderkids, because normally that's because they're buried in a reserve team somewhere. This guy is right in the middle of a starting lineup for IK Start. I took a crack at it. If it's Ike Start, I do apologize. On to number 9. We're going back to Brazil again. To Santos, to a guy named Kaio Jorge, who's only 17. He will be one of the most polarizing players on this list. Kaio Jorge has very low determination. Yes, but he has ability that can rival most of the people that we've seen on this list so far. He has higher potential, and he's only 17. So there is an opportunity for development. There's more time for you to be able to get his determination up and make use of a guy like Kaio Jorge, because he's another forward on the list for under 100,000 value. Also much better size than Popo. He's 6 foot, 156 pounds. He's not even necessarily done growing. There's not a lot to dislike if you only have a couple 100,000 to spend in the transfer budget and you're looking for a young forward. Kaio Jorge has to be basically at the top of the list, because he can turn into a player that will lead you into the Champions League group stages if you're coming out of a small league. He just looks confident. Decided to stay in Brazil again for number 8. Allen. It might not be an explosive name, but his value and potential and honestly current ability, when you consider his value, is very high. He's not even on the main Palmeiras team. He's in the Palmeiras reserves. And even though he's only 5'5", SI's seen fit to give this guy really good technical ability all the way through. And he has the opportunity to overcome the fact that he will be physically overpowered by a large watermelon. He fits into a fairly classic mold for the South American attacking midfielder who doesn't offer a lot of versatility. Yes, he doesn't offer a lot of versatility, but considering how completely unknown he is to apparently even his own club, he's a great deal. Got to get on it quick, though, because he is, Father Time has not been kind to him. He's 19 going on 20. If you're not feeling the uber short midfielder, then I have something from the exact same country to ease your woes. Midfielder Victor Jan, another Brazilian. He might not be in the face pack, but he is better because look at that sweet determination. 19 determination. I have it on great authority that he is also a very consistent player. He is athletic, intelligent, technical, opportunity for incredibly balanced development in any direction you want to take it. Not remarkably versatile, but he's a natural in central midfield, and there's so much versatility in the roles that you can give a central midfielder that I consider him versatile anyways because of his attributes. Santos seems to have realized that they have their hands on something. He's a breakthrough prospect at the beginning of the game and will quickly become a player that is utilized part-time in the first team, which means this value is very, very much temporary, and you need to act on it quickly if you want Victor Jan. On to number 6. You thought I might just not have a fullback for you. I have a fullback for you, a guy named Douglas Borel. That's absolutely not how it would be pronounced, but I told you there were a lot of Brazilians in that. They've got the best value young players in the game for whatever reason. I'm just here conveying it to you. This is a real technical guy at fullback from the onset. He's 17 years old. I've won the Champions League with fullbacks starting that were less technical than this kid. That usually meant that they had a lot of pace and a little more intelligence, but he has time to get there. Borel is pigeonholed as a right side player. You can step him up to right midfield if you really want to because of that technical ability. And you're all going to have to get on it quickly because Bahia is not necessarily the best club in Brazil, and he's already a breakthrough prospect for them. And once these guys start to get first team time, clubs notice them. You notice him because I'm telling you about him. And if you need a right fullback for under 100,000 pounds, he's your guy. On and upward to number 5, Enzo Barrenechea. He's an Argentine who was playing for Newell's Old Boys until basically just before the game starts at our chosen start date, and then Sion signed him. So you're not necessarily going to be able to get after him immediately because Sion apparently was watching the video in my mind before I even made it and signed him. At 18 years old, he might not look as impressive because, well, he doesn't have one attribute that I have tipping the green scale, but he has a lot of attributes that are close. And for a young, left-footed attacking midfielder who can step it back to the middle of the field without losing too much comfort and has the ability to dribble and pass at a decently high level at 18 years old without being a deficit in personality or determination, you can count a lot of people in. Not to mention his potential ability is just a smidge higher than everybody else we've seen so far, and he's tall. You don't even have to worry about him having some stupid haircut because he doesn't have any hair. He just shaves it right off. To number 4, we go back to Brazil, a guy named Caio Lopes. Fun fact about Caio Lopes, he's actually also German. Playing for the Vasco da Gama U20s, it's a team in the top flight of the Brazilian league. He is so overwhelmingly balanced, incredibly consistent, just looks the part of a fantastic holding midfielder that you basically just sign and plug for as long as humanly possible because he's going to be able to do everything well. I mean, he's never going to turn into a world-class player, but he's going to be able to do everything well for a long time. He's already starting at a very high level, and I don't think you're ever going to find a much more balanced holding midfielder in the game, let alone one that is valued at $26,500 US, even less in pounds, which we're using to make this video. How do you not sign him? Even if you don't need a holding midfielder, just sign this. He's such unbelievable depth. He's going to develop. His determination is fine. He might not turn into the best version of himself, but he's going to turn into a good version of something. You just sign him and throw him somewhere, really. Top tier mustache list also. To the top 3, got you another attacking midfielder because I'm of the opinion, economically speaking, there are just always too many attacking midfielders. This guy's so high on the list because he's only $20,000 US. His potential is just as good as the last couple of guys we've been looking at. He has 17 determination. The downside is that this guy's never going to run by anybody. He'd probably lose the race to the tortoise, but there's a role called an enganche for a reason. I honestly don't know why this guy's value is so low because he's a breakthrough prospect for Santos, and we've seen breakthrough prospects for Santos be much more valuable, which means you're probably going to want to act on this one fairly quickly if you're going to act on it. But if you're looking for a ball-moving, attacking midfielder who's going to be able to develop a lot for you over the next couple of years, and you can sign him for basically nothing, this is the guy. I mean, he cracked the top 3, and he did it for more reasons than just he's unbelievably cheap, even compared to the people on this list. You didn't think I was going to get another European in here. Well, how about top 2? Aimar Oroz from CAO Osasuna, and he's only 17. His value isn't even close to the limit, and this guy's already got a first-team appearance for Osasuna. I honestly don't know why he's so freaking cheap, but you better sign him quick because Osasuna just got promoted, and if this guy plays in La Liga once before his 18th birthday, his value is going to turn into 30 million. That's not scientifically based, but honestly probably true. He's only 17. He's got EU, which is going to help out a lot of people that aren't able to sign most of the other players on this list for that very reason. And he's obviously very good already. He is a hinge player. He's not very athletic. He's not going to become too much more athletic. So if you need a central midfield that moves, you're going to need a workhorse next to him. But you put this guy next to N'Golo Kante, he'd probably be a bit over his skis for the first few years, but he'll catch up. He can move the ball. Wouldn't expect a lot of goals out of him. But this guy, I mean, he has a first-team appearance before his 17th birthday in the second tier of Spain. There are a lot of kids that tried to do that, and very few could. SI noticed that, recognized that, gave him great potential, and gave him great current ability for a 17-year-old at a value that, quite frankly, is ridiculous. Sign him. Only reason he's not number one, he hates big matches. Sorry. Now we're on number one. So, climactic, I think. Goalkeeper. It's a goalkeeper. Guy from the list, the 20 Wonderkids you haven't heard about. Fantastic deal. Maarten Vandevoordt. He's 17 years old. He does have potential to be your starting goalkeeper on a Champions League winning side, and you can sign him at the beginning of the game for under $100,000. Pounds and dollars. Goalkeeper's a position that everybody loves, just signing somebody, plugging him in there and saying, I'm good for the next 15 years. If you're at a club where this guy can start for you right away and you haven't signed him already, you really just must love pain. Sign him, start him right away, or sign him and start him in cups for a few years and then start him right away, and just let it happen. He's big enough. Determination is fine. He's already decent. He's going to get a lot better. Let it happen for you. And that brings to a close the first Football Manager Wonderkid video you've ever seen that ended with a goalkeeper. That is 17 players that have the potential ability to reach players like Presnel Kimpembe and Ferland Mendy in terms of their star rating and how they are associated with the world around them, and up from there until you get to Maarten Vandevoordt, that are valued at £100,000 or less. Because some people, I'm using American dollars for obvious reasons, they have no consideration for videos. I think they're done. I know I'm going to get somebody in the comments. It's like, well, this guy was over 100,000 in valuation. I know I accidentally said dollars a bunch of times. The valuation limit was set at £100,000. Everybody on this list is under £100,000 in valuation at the beginning of the game. You should be able to make moves on them aggressively, assertively. Do not be dissuaded by high inquiries. If you inquire about a player, they always shoot really high. Try and lowball them. You'll be able to get these players for right around that valuation right at the beginning of the game. Best of luck signing them. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you soon with another video in the Scouting Center. My name's Zealand. If you want to hang out with me on Twitch, the link will be right here. And, well, you can't click that. You can click down below. And also, if you'd like and subscribe this video, that would be great. Like and subscribe to this video. That would be greatly appreciated. Normally try and say that earlier, but just the subscribing should help you. We try and create a lot of interesting, creative, informative content. Buzzwords. See you soon. Singapore. I always forget Singapore. Ha! You, Lyle. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Ah! 7:23 left. 2:37. I am a deity. Ah!